Good day and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about some of John Deere's first 3-point hitches that would include the 800, 800A, and 801 3-point. In this video we're going to be covering some of the history of this 3-point and also installing one onto a tractor. So let's go. Today what you're looking at is a John Deere 801 3-point hitch. Now these things were put on mainly 60s and 70s, and today we got a John Deere 60 we're going to be throwing it on. So we're going to be going through, kind of setting it up, see what it all takes to bolt it on. We got our rear axles. We ran a tap inside of there, got them cleaned out. Previous owner of the tractor left the studs out of it, so we had to go in there and clean them out, get the rust out. But yeah, we're going to be bolting up this old school 3-point. Now what makes this one special is this is the third link here, and we're going to have two arms. It's going to be that arm that come over and hook to it, and those will bolt to the back of the axle there. So this is a little different style 3-point than the modern ones. And we got a little adapter here. I'm going to be talking about that a little later, maybe putting it on an implement. But yeah, this is what the third link looked like in the 1950s. Now my first step of putting this 3-point on was going to be putting on the bracket that attaches to the drawbar support. Now throughout this video it's going to look backwards, but here's how it's supposed to look on the drawbar support. And the reason I'm running it backwards is to get my 3-point higher. For a little bit of backstory on these 3-points, there's actually 3 different variants. The 800 was the first 3-point to be released. This would come out on tractors in 1953 and feature a turnstile adjustment arm that would make it noticeable and recognizable as the 800 3-point hitch. One of the drawbacks to this 3-point that was improved in the following year was this adjustment arm in certain circumstances was able to hit the seat, causing damage to the battery box. The 800A would follow this 3-point out, coming out in 1954. This 3-point would fix the issue of hitting the battery box, offering on the lift links new locking strap designs that would lock into place after you were done adjusting. But it wouldn't come until 1955, upon the release of the 801, that you'd finally see some draft capabilities. This would be an early innovation on the load and depth control that we know on some of the newer tractors. The main idea of the draft control, or the load and depth control shaft, is that it will sense when the plow is going deeper and be able to raise and lower the plow based upon that to keep things level. The way John Deere would achieve this is by changing the bracket on the 801. This would give the availability for the third link to be able to move. Now the previous 3-points, the 800 and 800A, were just fixed with no availability to move the third link. Being able to move this third link could help put some weight and some pressure down onto the rear axles, as well as keep an implement level. So here's what our upper link looks like in lift arm that connects onto the rock shaft. Alright, so here's our top link that connects onto the rock shaft. As you can see, pretty simple there. This top pin was missing when I bought the 3-point. So what this actually is a pin I picked up from Baumgart's for a couple dollars. Cut it and drilled a hole through here to put our pin in. And it looks pretty normal. The thing from John Deere, so this top pin was missing and also our bottom one was missing down here. And John Deere wanted $45 for one of the pins and I think $11 for the other. And in total I had to build 4 pins for this thing and spent about 25 bucks. So definitely saved some money there on the pins. But yeah, that's what I ended up doing on these pins. And our main goal for putting this 3-point on this tractor is we want to hook a little blade behind it and do some blading in the driveway and maybe move some snow. So we're thinking it'll work good on this 60. 60's got power steering, so it should be pretty sweet. And with our top arms on, it's starting to look a little more like a 3-point. Our next step would be then to add on our bottom 2 draft links. Now these would be held on with a castellated nut. So now we're going to be putting in our third link here. And this goes right to there and right to there. Now what there's supposed to be up here on the battery box a place for these to tie on and hold this up. Our last step here is going to be putting our chains on. I was able to pick these chains up out of Denton, Nebraska, which is a little town by Lincoln. And these chains came in at $54.97 a piece, which is about half the price of what other places on the internet wanted. So I went ahead and went with these. Now you can see they have some very unique links in this chain, and this gives it the availability to move up and down along with your 3-point. Another thing I ran into that's kind of common on 3-points is one of my adjusters for our third link was completely seized up. Now it took some time with pipe wrenches working it back and forth to finally get it broke free. Another cool thing to note is you gotta have the dummy plugs in both the hydraulic outlets to divert that flow to the rock shaft and let it go up and down. We originally had a female coupler that came with it that was in it, and our rock shaft wasn't working, so we pushed in a dummy plug out of another tractor, and all of a sudden 3-point was working. So we're gonna fire her up here and run her up and down. So a couple things I was missing on this 3-point were the pins that come up from the third link and come into the 3-point lift arms. Now this helps with the depth control. I was also missing the S-hooks that hold up the third link, but plan on taking out a couple of the S-hooks out of an old rubber strap. And as you can see, my one lift arm isn't actually from an 801 3-point, but the brackets that bolt to the axle are. So it looks like this 3-point's been kind of pieced together a little bit, but still has all the functionalities of the 801 3-point. So here's the new style center link I was talking about. Now this makes it a little bit better because as you can see on that old design, they use kind of a piece that slid over it like on a plow to hook to that third link. This is the new design, and pretty much you have to unscrew this union here and put this inside like a blade or an attachment, and then you tighten these against it. So you'd have to pop both of these off to get it hooked up to like a blade. So we're going to be trying this new thing out, see if it's any good or if we just got to build kind of our own style third link there. Yeah, all in all, it turned out good. And anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. That's an 801 install on a John Deere 60.